Hey, everybody. Welcome to the award-winning RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast, which is brought to you by Underdog, Vivid Seats, and Rival Fantasy. It's Tuesday, November 7th. Go out and vote. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm Dr. A. He is fellow RotoWire staff writer Ken the K-Train Kreitz.
All aboard.
Let's go.
I'm honored to be back, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you back. It sounds like we're going to be doing this every couple weeks, a few times a month. We've got a schedule set up. We've got a format, maybe what do you call it? What they call it?
A format outline?
When you were in college, a syllabus. We have a syllabus for this class.
That might give us more intelligentsia than we deserve.
Well, we can also call it a format, but today we're gonna cover some news. We're gonna hit the panic meter. We're gonna talk about some hot players. We got since the K Train and I are approaching 100 years old, we got the Get Off My Lawn segment. Back to election day, there's no games tonight, so there's really not any betting to talk about. But we're gonna get into that. And then
I put some player futures in there. We'll discuss.
Got some futures, and I've got maybe a Rick Mahorn story if we have time for it. But
I love this story. Please, we got to do it.
K Train. I've already had a visit from the cops to my house today, and it's It's 11 a.m. What do you think about that?
How many empty bottles of bourbon are in your front yard, Steve?
Well, ironically, we sort of picked up the front yard yesterday. And I live on a very private lot, so people can't really see my lawn. And I live in the Georgia mountains. So, I mean, I'm apt to let things get a little...
You should be making your own moonshine, it sounds like, from that location.
I let things get a little loose down there at times. But yeah, my son just learned how to drive, and he was in a fancy country club neighborhood at the golf course where I work, and he was in a roundabout. So he was on his way to being free and going where he needed to go, but for some reason he turned off that and went down this like narrow driveway, and he realized he shouldn't have done that. So he just threw it in reverse and started backing up, and he backed like 20 feet into this dude's lawn and took out the
Wolf of Wall Street, the end of Wolf of Wall Street.
It was sort of like that, I think, except it wasn't hammered. So he takes out a light. He took out the yard sign with the address on it. He went over 3 shrubs and basically almost went over the 4-foot retention wall. Drove away in front of the guy.
Take the license away, Steve. Might be time to take away the license.
He just got it. He's had it for like a week. So, and he also ran over all the cones in reverse when he got his license. And I don't know why they gave him his license, but anyway. So, dude calls the guard gate and says, "Hey, grab the number of this blue Honda that's getting ready to drive by." And then, like 2 hours later, I'm at Johnny B's, my local hangout, and this guy who my son drove through his yard, his neighbor sees me and he goes, "Hey, Steve," he's like, does Soren drive a blue Honda?" And I was like, "Yeah." Well, I drove through this guy's yard, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, me and the guy worked it out a week ago, or a few days, on Sunday, Soren and I went over there, but the cops did not get notified that we had worked it out. So he was there knocking on my door at 9:30 this morning.
Well, I'm sure you told him, "Hey, I have a very important NBA podcast I need to get to, so let's wrap this up."
I was like, "Well, like this story, we need to wrap this up. That was way too long." So anyway, let's get into this.
Yes.
Anyway, I did let my son know he is not going to prison. So
I would let him worry about it. All right, let's go to the center situation in Orlando, Steve. What's going on in Orlando?
Wendell Carter Jr. is out for 3 weeks. Former Pacer Goga Bitadze.
Bitadze? I always say I mispronounce names brutally, but
it could be Bitadze.
All right.
Who knows?
But he's been getting the start. Everyone thought Wagner was going to get the start, but it's not. It's been Goga.
In the first game, he was 10-10 with 5 blocks.
Oh,
anytime somebody gets 5 blocks, you take notice.
Yeah.
And then last night, he had 7.6 boards, 2 steals, and a block.
They gave Wagner more minutes off the bench, but you look at the point differential. Goga had a better game. I don't know why they kept giving Mo more minutes, but Mo's a fake tough guy. He was so terrible when he was with the Celtics. He was atrocious. He made Luke Cornett look good. And, I feel like he gets a free pass because his brother's a star on the Magic team. But he's like a fake hustle guy, fake flop, dive into the crowd when it's not necessary. I hate Mo Wagner.
Do people even know that Mo and Franz are brothers? I mean, they don't get very much hype. It's not very often brothers play on the same team.
Well, Mo doesn't deserve the hype, but you're right. I don't know how many people know that they're brothers.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, Carter's out for a while. So I think Bitadze is a good pickup right now.
I do too, because of, like you mentioned, the block potential. Mo Wagner's never been a block guy. Goga's been one of those great per 36-minute guys that we've had a free Goga joke running on other versions of this pod. And I'm excited to see Goga get some minutes. We'll see. Hopefully he, it's not like Wendell Carter's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Like, I'd like to think if Goga had a quality run, they might let him keep starting, but maybe I'm just too pro Goga.
I don't know. Pro Goga. That's a term right there.
That's a social media thing that really should take off.
Hey, K-Train, your favorite player, James Harden, made his Clippers debut last night. 17 points, 6 assists. They got killed by the Knicks, right? The Clippers got beat. Paul George was very excited to have James Harden on board as he went 2 for 11 with 10 points. Kawhi Leonard at 18, 5, and 3. Very pedestrian.
Is this Thibodeau just being his defensive guru, or is this a mess for the Clippers?
Well, it's game 1.
Yeah.
It's game 1. Harden's still wearing the fat suit.
If you're Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, right? And Harden's making those quotes about, I'm not a system player, I am the system. And I'm Kawhi Leonard. I'm like, yeah, this is the Kawhi Leonard system. You're going to play in that because no one wants you but us.
Who says that, by the way? It's
like they said to West. Oh, only raging egomaniacs say that.
Who says I am the system?
You know what? I give James Harden that quote 8-9 years ago when he was, a year into his Houston run. But after that, what kind of nutso raging egomaniac spews that out?
Well, that's like,
if you're George and Leonard, are you just shaking your head like, oh, what's going on?
That's like drunk Reese Witherspoon stumbling around the streets of Atlanta asking if the cops know who she is as she goes to jail.
That sounds like a video I really need to look up on the internet. I did not know that was a thing.
You have not seen that. It's probably 5 years old.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook started, which is kind of important because we didn't know if that was going to happen. And given the result of the game, maybe it doesn't happen in the next one. But Bones Highland and Norm Powell both played 22 minutes. Powell scored 14. Bones scored 5. I think we can probably pour one out for Bones at this point.
And Powell, really. I was shocked. I mean, was that some garbage time? I was watching the Celtics game. I did not catch too much of this.
I was not really dialed into the Clippers game last night, Ken. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see 1 second of it. And I was having some DirecTV issues.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, I think Zubats is safe because he's like their only, he and Plumlee, nobody wants to do the dirty work center stuff. But, yeah, I think all those bench guys, Powell and Highland in particular, who looked good a week or so ago, how many shots can there possibly be for those guys? And how do you give Harden and Westbrook starting? You think that lasts?
I don't give this team lasting. Like, I don't know how this is going to work.
I don't either.
I don't know
who's 4 raging egomaniacs.
I don't know who's going to start. I don't know who's going to. I mean, what does Westy do if they put him on the bench? Does he throw a fit? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the Lakers put Westbrook on the bench, and he kind of handled that.
Seemed to handle it
right?
okay.
So, but like, I don't know why. Is it like, well, hey, we got Westbrook to turn his game around. We can do the same with Harden. I'm like, oh God, how many high usage? We'll see. I try to remind myself, Harden did lead the league in assists last year, right? Like, he can do it. I should like my personal disdain for the guy shouldn't taint my stat projection for him, but it does.
Former Celtic and Adam Schefter favorite.
Chris Forsberg favorite. Yeah, exactly.
The Time Lord.
Or another one out there. Oh.
Pour one out for him. Knee surgery, which I feel like he's needed knee surgery for like 5 years now.
Well,
like,
repetitive knee surgery. There's like, I don't know, is this his second, third, or fourth procedure? They try to not use the word surgery. Brad Stevens is like, yeah, we can see that coming. Even Portland. Can Portland act surprised? I just it's inevitable, and that's honestly why I kind of like the Drew for a lot of reasons. I like the Drew Holiday trade. The Celtics had kind of burned a bridge when they tried to deal him in the original Porzingis deal, and then Time Lord just can't stay healthy, and we're seeing that sadly now.
He cannot stay healthy, and yeah, and you know what? The Bucks really don't look that great right now, and they miss Drew Holiday.
Defense. It was like Dame Lillard's awesome. Dame Lillard hasn't had to play playoff defense in how long?
They missed Drew's defense, man. But anyway, Time Lord, all it really means is more minutes for DeAndre Ayton, right?
Yeah, and gotta be.
I thought DeAndre Ayton was going to roll into Portland with a chip on his shoulder, ready to prove people wrong and dominate and go off. And he just doesn't really look like he cares.
He should be getting 2 blocks a night, right? Like, the athleticism's there, but the effort is not. And I think that's why Phoenix didn't mind. They slowly burned that bridge with him. Yeah, Ayton drives me nuts. Could they go small ball also a little more in Portland? Get Sharp some more minutes? Or am I
Well, the problem is 52-year-old Jerami Grant clogging up the paint, taking all the shots and getting 2 rebounds a game. Right. That is the problem. And he's only there because he thought Lillard was coming back. So he's like, okay, I'll sign. And then
or they offered to overpay him to try to keep Lillard, and then that didn't work. And yeah.
Well, it was all related to Dame. And then when Dame didn't come back, I find it hard to believe that Jerami Grant's going to be on that team for the entire season. But right now, he's kind of clogging everything up to let these kids go out there and just run, which is what most of us see.
I'll say this. It's not like Scoot turned the world on fire the few games before he got hurt. So
no, but Shadon was. And CJ or what's his face? Brogdon looks really good, but he's old.
Well, Brogdon will be great till he also has a.
He's going to be hurt any day now.
He will have something broken in one of his feet or a hand.
So anyway, more minutes for Ayton. If you've got Ayton, maybe this will get him going. But I don't know about that.
I doubt it. What's
CJ McCollum has a small collapsed
second time for the
right
second
lung.
Time. Yeah, lung issue for the second time. What's weird is they're not really giving out any details on how long he's gone. But you wisely, and I agree with you 100%, you put in the notes there's a certain automatic pickup you've got to make here based on the situation.
Well, and people were asking me yesterday on Twitter before the game if I like Dyson or Hawkins or Kyra Lewis, and I was going with Hawkins just what have you done for me lately? And he played well in the previous game. So this
draft pedigree as well.
Jordan Hawkins, UConn rookie, 14th pick, went crazy last night. 31 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 7 triples.
Yeah,
for the Pelicans.
Gunning.
Last time CJ had a lung problem. He was out for a month and a half. So
exactly.
We don't know how long he's going to be out this time, but Jordan Hawkins is the pickup of the day on Tuesday. There's no NBA games. Maybe he's still sitting out there available in your league. Be a good time to go pick him up. Maybe you have a guy like, say, who was I dropping last night at a rapid pace? Like every league I could get, I was just dropping this guy. Was it Max Strus?
Probably was Strus because
might have been Strus. It might have
lit
been
it up when Cleveland was at like half a roster, and everybody went nuts like he was like some hot, second year sophomore blossoming. And like, no, this guy's old. This guy's had multiple two-way contracts. And, honestly, an improvement at small forward for the Cavs because they had nothing at small forward for the Cavs last year. Okoro, some defense, zero offense. But Max Strus is going to be option 4 on that rotation when everyone's healthy.
And I still think Strus is worth rostering in a lot of leagues. But if you need to drop somebody, Strus and my man Bruce Brown in Indiana, better reality player than fantasy player.
Yeah, we're getting on the chat here. Would you take Hawkins or Schroeder in Toronto? I'd still go Schroeder. I think he's locked in. Dennis is locked.
Schroeder looks locked for the league. There's nobody else to play point guard there.
Exactly. They have one point guard on that team. Dennis
so I probably wouldn't drop Schroeder to get Hawkins, but I would try to find somebody to drop to get Hawkins.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can just throw a guy on the IR and not have to cut anybody.
That's true.
So
check your league rules. Speaking of injuries, another point guard issue, this time in Denver.
Yeah, Jamal Murray out for a week, hamstring, at least a week. That could linger.
I know. I love Jamal Murray.
Man, this Murray just can't stay healthy for an extended period. It doesn't seem like. When he does, he's super fun, and then you forget about the fact that he's often injured. And but Reggie Jackson, to me, he didn't do anything last night. He looked. Bad.
You wrote automatic pickup, but I disagree. I think he's on the wrong side of his career bell curve. Inefficient scorer. Jokic is going to just pick up the assists even more so with Murray out, and maybe Aaron Gordon. Frankly, they play a little more through him. Reggie Jackson, all those like frustrating years he had in Detroit probably haze my opinion here, but I just can't get behind Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, automatic pickup might be strong. I'll give you that, but he's going to start. And he's going to play minutes for the Nuggets.
For the minutes, 14-team league, even a 12-teamer if your bench is terrible.
For the next 2 weeks, if you got a guy on your team you've been wanting to cut and there's nobody on waivers to pick up, if Reggie's sitting there, I mean, that's a guy.
Sure rather have Jordan Hawkins, though.
I would rather have Jordan Hawkins than Reggie. That is correct. I'm just trying to see what Reggie did last night. I just want to see. I know his stats were bad, but I thought he played a lot of minutes. Oh, they played each other, too. It was Jackson against Hawkins.
Yeah.
24 minutes, 7 points, 4 assists, 2 of 8. Nothing to write home about, but he's going to play point guard for the next 10 days or so. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly. The minutes will be there. We'll see.
Is Bismack Biyombo the new center in Memphis?
I don't know. They also have Santi Aldama finally coming back healthy. He's not exactly your classic banger inside like Tillman. I think Aldama and Biyombo, they're going to alternate there. It's not like Memphis is lighting the world on fire. They finally did eke out a victory. But I think we know the offensive limitations of Biyombo. This speaks even more to, Desmond Bane's awesome because he's going to have to carry that offense. But I actually picked up Aldama in a bunch of leagues when Adams got hurt. And I think longer term, Aldama's numbers when he started last season, which was really more in the first half, I found a lot more appealing than Tillman's. We don't know anything about these Tillman injury details, just that he had knee soreness. Has anything come out in the last half hour that you've seen, Steve?
Not that I've seen, but I have also not seen Xavier or Tillman do anything to turn my head and get me fired up. And while Bismack Biyombo is similar in that regard, where I don't get super excited when I see his name, if nothing else, this kind of ruins Xavier Tillman, right? Like,
well, it's not like they have a lot of invested in Biyombo, right? Like they didn't have a choice. Was it Monday or Sunday when they went with Biyombo? They didn't have a choice because Tillman was just flat out, and Aldama is not. They're working him back in slowly. I don't know. We need to find out more about this Tillman injury.
but Tillman wasn't exactly getting it done when he was in there. I'm just saying,
I thought he had 1 or 2 double-doubles, I thought.
I mean, if you're holding Tillman in fantasy, the last thing you wanted to see was Bismack Biyombo.
Of course.
And I jumped on the Santi Aldama train last year, and I didn't enjoy that ride. So I'm not.
That's fair. That's fair.
I am not all in on Santi this year. I was a little early on him last year. I will say that.
I thought the big death blow to Santi was Steve Adams returned, and he ain't coming back this season for them. So, I mean, Tillman basically 8-8, but with a block a game and 1.7 steals a game so far.
Okay, but let's talk about his...
But no threes. Not going to shoot even outside the key.
His November numbers are 3 points and 5 boards and 1 block. So, but maybe his knee was hurting then. I don't know. He only played 14 minutes against the Jazz on Wednesday, and then he played 24 minutes Friday, and that was the last time we saw him. So his last 4 games, he's had 8, 6, 0, and 6 points. I would say he was trending down.
Yeah, but I suspect that's the knee. We'll see. I mean, look. No one's going to say our future is Bismack Biyombo, right?
They are not.
Let's hook our wagon to that guy.
But what I'm saying is, if you have Tillman on your team and you want to drop him for one of these hot free agents we're talking about, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world.
That's fair. I do not drop him for 31-year-old Biyombo, though. Don't make that move.
I would drop him for Jordan Hawkins.
Sure. Obviously,
I'd drop him for Denny Avdija.
Ooh, yeah, certainly.
All right. Would you like to talk about Bam?
Bam! Triple-double last night, 22 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, road win over the Lakers. He had 4 steals and blocks, or as I like to say, Steve, stocks, which I know you enjoy. I mean, Bam was so good, AD had groin spasms. Ooh, thanks, Mr. Street Clothes. Groin spasms. That sounds like a dirty joke, not something we've never actually reported groin spasms on RotoWire before. Alex Barutha, I'm watching games and texting with Alex last night. He's like, in my 6 years of reporting RotoWire injuries, I've never used the phrase groin spasms. It's like, I think that happens at fraternity parties, not basketball courts. But
that's good.
We'll see how long AD's out. He's not exactly Cal Ripken, but
he's vowing to play on Wednesday, K-Train. I mean, do you doubt him?
Yes. Well, he also went back into that game. It was just like a piece of furniture. Like, I don't know. He knows he has this horrible reputation. He does not want Charles Barkley mocking him on national television more. But this is why, game count, you avoid AD. He's great when he plays, but then he's going to have these injuries.
Dude, how about the fact that these guys are actually trying to power through injuries this year? I feel like this league mandate is sort of working.
Yeah, I don't even know how they enforce it, and yet you're right. It is working so far.
I feel like guys have a different mentality. Instead of seeing how many games they can sit out and still get paid, they're actually like, well, maybe this year I'm going to try to see how many games I can actually play in and take a cue from Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, or 40-year-old Michael Jordan, who played 82 games and averaged, I think it was over 34 minutes for the Wizards that last season, just coming out of the front office.
Yeah. So way to go, Bam. Keep an eye on AD's groin spasms between now and tomorrow night.
You know what, Steve? I think we got to jump ahead. I think it's time to talk about our good friends at Underdog.
Oh, we're behind schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Underdog Fantasy is the #1 platform for best ball leagues, including fantasy basketball. Underdog's featured best ball tournament for the upcoming NBA season has $500,000 in total prizes. If you haven't tried Underdog yet, new Underdog users receive a first-time deposit bonus up to $100 and a free 6-month subscription to RotoWire with promo code RWNFL. That's promo code RWNFL. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog app today and use promo code RWNFL to claim your free RotoWire subscription and deposit bonus.
And Steve, I have to correct you. We've got old text in our notes here. The code is now RWNBA. So let me do my usual. That's code RWNBA for your free RotoWire subscription.
Now, did you do that to me on purpose? Did you put the NFL in there on purpose?
No, it was originally NFL. You don't, and I did not make the update.
Well, you had it updated underneath, which is fantastic because
you're part of the read.
It's actually making us talk more about Underdog. In fact,
that's a good point.
In fact, K-Train.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, that code is RWNBA.
RWNBA.
And I had a little Underdog problem last night myself. It wasn't a problem. It was actually, I had a $5
get off my lawn segment.
We're gonna jump up there just to talk about Underdog.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go back. But so I had beef stew. I needed 1.5 triples from him. He comes out of the gate and bangs 2 right off the bat. Done. Delicious. Green, we're good to go. Kevon Looney, I need 1 block. He has a block early in the second quarter. Off my lawn, good to go. Jonathan Kuminga, I need 1 block. Bam, first quarter, done. Zach Collins is the 4th leg of this thing.
This is a hell of a parlay, by the way. This is one of the most obscure parlays. I love it.
$5 to win $122. I need 2 3-pointers from Zach Collins, Spurs center, right?
Yeah.
First quarter, bang. Like first shot of the game, he hits a 3-pointer.
Really? Loving life.
I'm like, all I got to do is get through the second half of these games and have 1 3-pointer from Zach Collins, and I win big money. And, of course, the Spurs were down like 30 to the Pacers. He even got back in the game, though, for trash time and threw one up and missed it. I still had a chance. But anyway, Underdog, like you said, that's an obscure 4-leg parlay, but it's fun, and it's legal in states where you can't bet. So it's a good time. Excellent. Ken, would you like to talk about the panic meter? Would you like to get us kicked off?
Yes, your new segment. Who is scaring us right now? And I will say first, fans, if you enjoy this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons below. That's what funds Steve and I to get to do this work. Who's making me scared right now? You've got a strong list. I'm terrified about Daniel Gafford. Now, maybe like Tillman, he's been nursing an injury. He's had an ankle injury. He's been trying to play, not been playing well. He's only had 1 of his 3 games with solid results. There's no other center in Washington. Gafford should be getting monster minutes. I didn't check his Monday results. I know the Wizards got blown out as usual.
They're right there. They're right on the page. 6 of 7, 12.7 boards, 5 blocks.
Yeah, the 5 blocks is why you get him. So, as you noted in the notes, well done. He's fine, but boy, those first 3 games scared the heck out of me. I think it's because of the ankle injury. And as you said early in the show, 5 blocks, delicious.
Yeah. And then you've also got your guy, Wiggins. Who's my guy. I was a Wiggins guy this year.
So he was great first half of last season before the personal issue that popped up and made him miss most of the second half. And I expected nice things. I had a low salary. I have him in 2 keeper leagues, low salary in one of the keeper leagues. The other one's Kamala's thing with no salary. So I was kind of excited for him to come back. What do you think, Steve? Is it a terrible fit with Chris Paul? I mean, his free throw shooting, which was bad last year, is even worse. He's at 57%. He has 0 steals in 7 games. I feel like I could get a steal in 7 NBA games. 2 of 9 last night. 4 points, 6
He had a
boards.
block and a steal last night. So
block and a steal. Oh,
he
that's
broke
true.
the streak.
Game 8. Yeah.
But my fat, you know what, could walk into a steal in 7 NBA games. I mean,
exactly.
Some like Wemby would accidentally bounce one off his knee, and I would pick it up.
Right.
Like something.
7
something
games without a steal. How do you do that?
I don't know. He's been terrible. He's a guy that I'm dropping right now. I think he'll get it turned around at some point, Wiggins, but I don't have time to wait. The waiver wire is popping with guys that are kind of going off right now.
Yeah. I mean, Wiggins is only 28. It's like he's too young. Is he 28? I probably should double check that. But I felt like this guy's too young to be acting like an old man. Yeah, 28. I don't know what's going on there, but you're right. It's terrible. All right, who are you worried about, Steve?
Well, I was all fired up about DeAndre Hunter and the Hawks for a minute. And then over his last 2 games, he has 12 points and 7 boards total. I don't know what happened in those 2 games. I don't know. I'm not dropping DeAndre Hunter in most leagues just yet, but this looks more like the DeAndre Hunter from last year as opposed to the DeAndre Hunter we were seeing this year.
The knee injuries have taken their toll, maybe. And yet keep waiting for Jalen Johnson to remember. And then remember the AJ Griffin train last year? Like they have other options. I know they're paying Hunter a lot. Hey.
Well, I think they want it to be Hunter and Jalen. And I think Sadiq Bey is clogging things up there.
Yeah.
Another guy, Bruce Brown, I mentioned him earlier. I was kind of fired up about Bruce Brown being kind of a glue guy for the Pacers, which he is.
Yeah.
But he's just not putting up fantasy numbers outside of 3-pointers. So I would rather have Denny Avdija. Lou Dort is kind of hot right now. I think he's a hot pickup. Tim Hardaway Jr. might be better than Bruce Brown.
To your point on Brown, they put up 152 points on the Spurs last night, and he only got 7 of those. No steals, no blocks, 5 boards, 4 assists, but 152 points, you get 7? Come on.
And then a guy that you put on my list for me, which is okay because you're my podcasting godfather at RotoWire. A guy that I would never draft in a million years anyway is DeMar DeRozan. 89th in per game value. Like, come on, man. And he doesn't shoot threes. He's 34 years old. He loves the mid-range.
Percentage is tanking. Now the field goal percentage is tanking, which can't do.
Yeah, I'm not feeling DeMar DeRozan. So those are some of my dudes. Would you like to tell us about Vivid Seats?
Certainly. The NBA season is here. On behalf of our friends at Vivid Seats, let's get one thing clear. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team crush it on the court to the sound of thousands of screaming fans, like Celtic fans, for instance. Every dunk, dribble, and every heart-pounding play of your favorite team live and in person. And because Vivid Seats is the only ticketing company where you can earn rewards on every purchase, you can score amazing deals and unrivaled annual rewards all season long. Plus, 100% buyer guarantee, you can be sure your ticket will be as legit as your love for the game. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today and use promo code RotoWire for $20 off your first $200 purchase. That's promo code ROTOWIRE for $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase. Download the app or visit vividseats.com. Vivid Seats. Experience it live. That's code ROTOWIRE for $20 off.
Ken, anytime somebody tells me my ticket will be as legit as my love for the game, I get fired up. I mean, that's
as legit as it gets.
That is some good. I love that. I actually do love that. So Ken, you may have noticed we've got like 110 games in the NBA on Wednesday night and 0 NBA games on Tuesday night. Like this early in the season, like I'm all fired up about Underdog. I'm all fired up about my fantasy teams. I just want to gamble and watch basketball. And I can't do any of that tonight. There's no football. Like, first of all, what are we going to do tonight?
Am I going
Secondly,
to talk to my family?
why? So the reason there is no basketball tonight is because the NBA has decided that on voting day, November 7th, every year, whether there's a major election or not, we are not going to have basketball games.
Voting. And you know the key word there, Steve? Day. Voting day. And on Tuesday, when are most games played, Steve?
Usually at nighttime when the polls are closed. So I'm going to go vote for my 2 city council seats that are open today.
I think we have in Vermont. There's maybe a rule up about which trees you can tap for maple.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah, some maple. Yeah,
important legislation.
Yes. So the NBA cares about us voting on those things so much that they've canceled the entire season for us. But again, if the Celtics were playing tonight and the Hawks are playing tonight and Wemby was playing tonight, how would that impact me voting?
I'm still going to vote during the day.
I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Day, night. I'm cranky about it. Arg.
If there was a presidential election happening tonight,
I get it. And those do go late, don't they? The president stuff goes late. I get it.
Not too terrible. Sometimes the polls stay up until about game time.
Yeah.
Just early night games. Look, I get it a little bit for a national election, but for
local stuff,
come on.
I'm all in favor of getting more people to vote. I don't see how this gets more people to vote. I don't see it at all.
Let's kind of make it like the Olympics, like an every 4 years thing.
I like it. Amen.
Okay. All right.
That's wise.
This is the get off my lawn segment, by the way. This is 2 old guys, just Larry David, just ranting about stuff. Let's talk about the terms.
Stadler and Waldorf, the old Muppet.
Stadler and Waldorf, the Muppet old guys. So the term stocks, Ken. Yeah. It's stocks stands for steal and block combined together into one easy word that fantasy pundits and writers have. Half of them have adopted it. Half of us have not.
Yeah.
You're into it. You're down with the stocks.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. I see that word and it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck.
Why does it bother you, sir?
I don't know. The same reason that having a kid run across my lawn bothers me. I'm just old and cranky, dude.
There's a lot of, hey, look, I actually, on the Friday pod, I have my own segment called The Old Man Rant. I was complaining about Kim Kardashian sponsorship with the NBA on Friday. Which you can see in the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball YouTube page. But so I'm cranky about a lot of things, but stocks isn't one of them. Here's what I like about it. When you're doing a show like this, right, and you're repeating someone's stat line, it's really boring to hear this many points on this kind of shooting, this many rebounds, this many assists. By the 5th or 6th stat, everyone's brain is just turned off. So you just merge the stocks together at the end because you're trying to get through it quicker.
Okay.
You really just lump in the defensive stuff.
I just don't love the word. I don't know why.
Okay. I will avoid it on future Tuesdays, sir.
Dude, let's talk. No. You have to keep using it. You have
just to irritate you, just to poke you with a stick.
You have to do it. Cam Thomas, your guy, my guy. He's running my 30-team league right now. Like, he's on my team with Wemby.
Yes, and so this is player 1 of our hot players section.
Go with it.
Talk
to me.
We were talking about hot players. I'm bringing up someone that everyone knows is hot, but the only reason I'm doing it is because on the last time you had me as a guest, you said let's end with big reach bets, and my big reach bet was Cam Thomas, 6th man of the year. He was something like plus 4,500 odds. Well, Cam Thomas is now the favorite to win 6th man of the year. In fantasy, he's offering 44th per game value, 8 category leagues. He is gunning, which is why we like him. 45 points last night in a loss to the Bucks. Now, I will say Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton, they're out, but they will eventually return. But Thomas's odds, he now leads. Oh, I screwed this up. But top odds for 6th man of the year is at plus 700. Actually, Shannon, one of my other RotoWire coworkers, he thinks he's going to become ineligible. He's going to get too many starts. He thinks they're going to sit Dinwiddie, who has not started well. He could have been in our concerning panic meter section, and so he may not qualify. That's kind of the fun of voting, betting on a Sixth Man of the Year. But anyway, Cam Thomas on fire. Who's the first hot player you wanted to point out? Maybe in Detroit?
I'm going to go with Marcus Sasser.
Hello. Not
Marcus
a common name.
33 minutes last night. He only had 7 points. He plays for the Pistons. He's a rookie. But the 2 games before that, he had 22 and 19 points. He's scoring off the bench for the Pistons. The Pistons are terrible. Marcus Sasser is going to get a ton of run. You listen to shows like this, not so we can tell you that Victor Wembanyama is good or that Kevin Durant is old and good.
Yeah.
You want it, guys. You want names that you may not be thinking of. And Marcus Sasser, kind of hot.
First round pick, but all the way 25th.
Lou Dort.
He's on that timeline the Pistons should be pushing, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is Bogdanovich still on this squad? He's too old for this roster. Alec Burks. Yeah, he's talented, but what is he doing on this roster?
Killian Hayes.
Yeah, it's true. But he's still like only 12 years old because didn't he start when he was like 8 or 9?
Maybe. But I've also got Lou Dort on my list. I think he's a hot pickup right now. And until last night, Dillon Brooks was absolutely on fire, which I don't understand how that's possible. But
I don't know how there are shots for Dillon Brooks. Like,
keep
really?
an eye on Dillon Brooks.
You're going to develop Dillon Brooks over Jabari Smith? Really? Really, Houston?
Did you want to mention your other guy, or are we moving on?
No, I have to. Let's stay in Detroit. Ausar Thompson, their first round pick. Hello, Stocks. He had a 4-steal, 4-block night on Sunday in their loss to Phoenix. He had 4 steals last night and 16 points. Alec Burks is hurt, which is giving Thompson's already starting, but with Burks out, he's getting even more minutes. He's at 52. He ranks 52nd per game value, 8 category leagues, and really low turnovers. He's probably even better in 9 category leagues. But don't sleep on Ausar Thompson. Not sure he's available, but check your waiver wire.
Nice. LeBron versus Jordan, Magic versus Bird, Barkley versus McHale. Basketball is synonymous with legendary player rivalries. K-Train versus Dr. A. They make the game more fun and give fans the storylines that raise the stakes every time those players meet on the court or come up in conversation. Now, every player matchup and head-to-head debate can be settled on Rival Fantasy. This NBA season, you can play challenges where you decide which NBA player will score more fantasy points in their next game. Play the Rival Fantasy in-house challenges or create your own and get a friend in the mix with customizable social challenges. Sign up at joinrival.com/RotoWire now and get a $200 deposit match. It's time to step up to the challenge on Rival Fantasy. See you in the arena.
Go to joinrival.com/RotoWire now for a $200 deposit match. This would be our bets tonight section for when we get together, Dr. A. But there are no bets tonight per our Get Off Our Lawn segment.
Sadly.
Insane. Absurd. So I thought we'd talk a little most improved player. I've got Scottie Barnes plus 5,500, which is second. And I'm completely blanking on who's first. I got to go back to my DraftKings board. And Cam Thomas is third at plus 800. Who do you like for most improved player, sir?
You know what? I didn't really spend much time looking at this because I thought I don't even know why, Ken, but Shadon Sharp has to be in the running. Now I had a at the beginning of the season, I had a player in mind to win this award.
Yeah.
That escapes me right now. I kind of like what Barnes is doing, dude. He was blocking so many shots.
And they were deferring to him on offense, which was fantastic.
Early in the season, he's flirting with triple doubles. He looks like like a different player right now than he did last year. So
disappointing sophomore year, but seems to have set up this season nicely for most improved.
And I think the key to winning most improved is making the All-Star team. And I think Scottie Barnes has a much better shot at making the All-Star team than Shadon Sharpe does, because Shadon plays for Portland and they're not.
Tyrese Maxey has the best odds, which is we expect Harden to be traded, and of course he has been traded. He's a plus 200, which is understandable. I think Maxey appropriately is the favorite. All right, let's cut to our closing segment, Steve, which I am looking forward to this every time you have me on the show. I want to hear Steve's brush with greatness when you used to bump into veteran NBA players back in Indiana. And a favorite beef brother of mine is somebody you've met in person, and I was hoping you're going to show the shoes.
I've got the shoes. I've got the shoes. I'll try to keep this short and sweet. So when I was a kid, as most of you know, I used to hang out after Pacer games and meet players. I meet them before the game, meet them after games. I try to get them to give me stuff. A lot of times they gave me a pair of shoes like this one.
The horns.
Rick Mahorn's Converse.
And these are Piston days, not his Bullets days. Is that right?
This, I believe, was a Pistons shoe, but the first time I met him was as a Bullet. So it was after a Bullets game. Back then, they called them the Washington Bullets. Are we allowed to say that on the RotoWire basketball podcast?
Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes would insist you say Bullets.
Okay.
Bobby Dandridge. Kevin Cleavey.
So Rick Mahorn was a big bruise brother with the Bullets. Beef brother. The Beef Brothers, right? Or is it Bruce? Beef.
It was Beef Brothers with Jeff Ruland, and they had a fantastic poster of the two of them in butcher jackets.
And as I recall, Rick Mahorn had gotten into an altercation with Herb Williams during the game this particular night, and for some reason Rick Mahorn was in a hurry to get back to the Hyatt, the hotel in Indianapolis. And this is probably 1984, 83. And he's outside the Pacers locker room with me because I'm just hanging out. And he's asking Pacers if he can have a ride back to his hotel. And they're like, no, man, you got to fight with her. We're not giving you a ride. And after he asked 2 or 3 guys, I was like, hey, Rick. And he turns around and looks at me. And I'm like, I got a car. He's like, let's go. So Rick,
you're how old?
Mahorn,
you're how old at this
point? I'm 16. I'm like my son that just backed through this man's lawn. I just turned 16.
You were driving a sweet ride, though. Didn't you have a sweet ride then? Is that when you had
I had a 67 Camaro? Yes.
Oh, as did
that
I.
Was basically
That's why we're destined to do this pod together. We both owned a 67 Camaro.
It was basically breaking in half, and it was the worst snow car you could ever give a kid to drive in Indiana, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rick and I get in the car. He goes, oh, man, I got this same car at home. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm sitting in a car at midnight with Rick Mahorn.
Post-fight,
and I'm driving him to the Hyatt. Let's see. I hope I can get there. It's 2 blocks that way. So we start driving, and I'm like trying to think of things to say to Rick Mahorn. His knees are like up in his chin, like he barely fits in the car. He's a huge man. And I go, hey, so I knew Buck Williams was leading the league in rebounds at that time. And I told Rick, I asked him, I said, hey, Rick, what do you think about Buck Williams? He's kind of a stud rebounder, isn't he? And he looks at me and he goes, man, Buck Williams is a bleepity bleep bleep. And I was like, okay, 16.
I think you made a cat reference to at the time.
There may have been a cat reference. So I just keep driving straight, pull into the Hyatt about 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, and he gets out of the car and he's like, hey man, he's like, thanks for the ride. Hold on a second, and he pulls the old horns out of the bag and gives me.
And the kids don't know those Converse shoes. That was the top shoe back then. Those were the shoes.
Everything I have 40 pairs. They're almost all Converse and Adidas.
Yeah.
It was before Jordan, Nike. I had one pair of Nikes. They were low cut. The red, the first ones from what was that guy's name? I forgot. Mike Banham.
I don't know, but Bird and Magic were Converse at those days. That was
everybody
Converse.
Was.
Yeah.
So anyway, when Mahorn came back the next time with the Pistons, I was outside the locker room and he saw me and he goes, "Hey man, you want to give me a ride again?" I'm like, "Yep." So I gave him another ride.
Hell yeah, I do.
He used to leave tickets.
So he recognized you the second time.
Yeah. And he used to leave tickets for me at will call, and we became buddies. And I haven't talked to him since I was in high school. So I am unrecognizable to him at this point. If I walked up to him on the street, he would be like, "What?" But anyway.
So 16-year-old Dr. A does not look like the current Dr. A, you're saying?
No. Well, we'll break out that photo evidence next show. Look, there's still 54 people here listening to this, so that's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. Would you like to talk about the RotoWire draft kit?
Yeah, we'll end with this. Please, fans, go to rotowire.com/try for a free trial of all the features on rotowire.com. All the rankings you heard us refer to, the daily lineups, both for today and tomorrow, extremely popular pages, all the roughly 40,000 NBA player news notes and analysis that we write, the DFS lineup optimizer, all the tools across every sport available for you. Help with your fantasy football team. Just go to rotowire.com/try. And I think that's it, Doc. Any farewell quotes for the fans?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do tonight. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Johnny B's and join the old ladies, including my wife, that play Yahtzee every Tuesday.
Ooh, that's solid.
And then my daughter is hosting music bingo. I mean, I've got a full night lined up in front of me now. I just figured it out.
When there's no NBA, you're like, oh, I do have a family.
I don't need basketball. I have people that I live with.
And then Wednesday night, we'll just get right back at it.
Yeah. See y'all. It was nice.
All right.
It was nice knowing you on Tuesday.
Thanks,
right,
Dr. A.
We'll do it again soon. Coming on.